Hi, I'm Ellie, the designer of Worldbreakers Advent of the Khanate. I am developing the solo mode for the game, and this is going to be a playthrough of the latest prototype. Briefly, I'm going to play as Marco Polo, and I'm going to try and get to 10 power. And I will try to do that before my AI opponent, Kutulun, does the same. I'm going to gain power by playing special location cards from my deck, and Kutulun is going to gain power by attacking me. Each round, each player is going to take 4 turns, and we're going to alternate. So I will take a turn, then the bot, I will take a turn, and so on and so forth. At the end of the round, we're going to flip, and we're going to keep going until one of us reaches 10. So let's go. I'm going to shuffle my deck. I'm going to start by drawing a hand of 5 cards. Worldbreakers has a mulligan rule, so in this particular case, I am going to mulligan away this one particular card, which is more of a late game card. Let's draw something else instead. I will start by playing the Start Apprentice for 3 Mythium, and when she enters play, I can play a location paying all costs. So I'm going to play the Humble Underpass, which is going to cost me 2 Mythium, and I'm going to load up Marco Polo and the Humble Underpass. And that was my turn. So now it is Kutulun's turn, and her action is going to be to recruit. So I'm going to play the top card of her deck, which is a 3/3. For Kutulun, we're going to ignore the card text, with one notable exception. And her next action is going to be to attack. So for my next action, I'm going to advance the Humble Underpass, develop the Humble Underpass, and that's going to gain me 2 Mythium and 1 power. And then Kutron is going to attack, and I'm going to block with the Star's Apprentice. So the Braggart is going to take 2 wounds, and the Apprentice is discarded. And Kutulun's next action is going to be to recruit again. And I'm going to play the Mothkeeper. And then Kutulun is going to recruit. Perfect. She recruits the Lowly Bard, who is a 1/1. And her next action is going to be Unrelenting. Unrelenting has a special effect. If any of Kutulun's followers have stationary counters, that is not the case, so she's just going to attack. Meanwhile, I'm going to advance to develop the Humble Underpass, which will gain me 2 Mythium and a Star's Standing. And this is depleted, so it goes away. And next is Kutulun's turn. She's going to attack with the Lowly Bard, and I will block with the Mothkeeper, who takes 1 wound, and the Lowly Bard is discarded. So that's the end of the end of the round. We are going to follow these instructions. So we're gonna ready our followers, and I'm gonna gain 2 Mythium and draw a card. So now Kutulun goes first, and she has Pledge Fealty. Play the Confident Suitor follower, and this is the special follower over here. And what the suitor says is that after he hits, he's discarded from play. And her next action is going to be to charge. I am going to play this Hidden Temple for 2 Mythium and load it up. And then Kutulun is going to attack with the suitor and the Braggart. I'm not going to block any of them, so she's going to gain 2 power, and the suitor is going to go back here. And her next action is going to be to recruit. I will draw a card. And Kutulun is going to recruit this Emboldened Soldier, who's a 1/2. I'm going to use the Hidden Temple. I'm going to develop the Hidden Temple for 4 Mythium. And then Kutulun is going to attack, and once again, I will block with the Mothkeeper. And for my next action, I will develop the Hidden Temple to draw 2 cards. And that's the turn. So let's ready our followers. I will gain 2 Mythium, and I will draw a card. And then this is gonna flip. Let's see here. I am going to go first by playing an Auspicious Smuggler. This is going to cost me 3 Mythium, and the Smuggler says that next turn I can take 2 actions. And now it's Kutulun's turn, so she's going to Inspire. She only has 1 standing, so she's going to increase her standing. So the standing mechanic means that Kutulun becomes stronger as the game progresses. In this particular case, she's going to shuffle this deck with 5 stronger cards. And finally, she's going to recruit the top card, who's a Disillusioned Veteran. And her next action is going to be to charge. I will play Inspirational Vision, which costs me 2 Mythium. And I'm going to seek out a follower in my deck. Seeking means I'm going to flip cards until I find a follower. And I'm going to play that follower for 2 less. So I'm going to get this Caravan Guard for no Mythium cost, and she's a 2/4. And now it's Kutulun's turn, and she's going to attack. So the Smuggler is going to block the Disillusioned Veteran, which deals 1 wound and is discarded. And then the Caravan Guard is going to block the Braggart, taking 3 wounds. And finally the Moth Keeper is going to block the Veteran, and she's discarded. And next turn Kutulun is going to recruit. So we have some quiet time. I'm going to use the Hidden Temple ability to gain 2 Mythium and draw a card. And then Kutulun is going to recruit an Amuraver Armorer, who is a 2/2. And next turn she's going to recruit again. That's going to be interesting. So I am going to play Straight to the Source, which usually costs 2, but I'm going to reveal 2 location cards from my hand to make it cost 0. And I will gain 3 Mythium. And then Kutulun is next. She's going to mobilize and get an Earth Apprentice, who is a 2/2. Oof, and her next turn she's gonna recruit 2 more followers. So there's gonna be a lot of followers on the board soon. Ready my followers, gain 2 Mythium, draw a card, and this is flipped. Kutulun is going to go first, and she's going to call to arms. Next round she's going to attack with all of these followers. There's quite a few of them, so let's get this slowly bar on the table. She's going to cost me 2 Mythium, and when she enters play, I'm going to gain 1 Mythium for every standing I have. So I will gain this 2 Mythium back. And now Kutulun is going to attack with all of her followers. I will trade the Lowly Bard with the Kilaria Adept, and I will trade the Caravan Guard with the Earth Apprentice, and the remaining 2 I'm just gonna let Kutulun get her points. So she's at 4 and I'm at 1. And her next action is gonna be Flank, which is going to defeat my follower, the one with the most wounds. It does mean we have a little bit of downtime, so I'm going to play the Pit of Despair for 7, and I'm going to load it up. So Kutulun is going to use the Flank ability to discard my follower, and next she's going to charge. Again, we have some downtime. I'm going to gain 2 power, and nothing's going to happen. On her next turn she's going to recruit, and I'm going to develop the Pit of Despair again, which is going to give me 2 Mythium and 1 power. And that's the end of the round. I'll gain 2 Mythium and draw a card. And I will go first. I'm just going to develop this one last time. So using the downtime to gain as many resources as possible. It's going to give me 2 cards and another power. And Kutulun is going to recruit. Her next action is going to be to lay siege. If opponent controls a non-hidden location, which we don't. So Kutulun is going to attack on her next round, on her next turn. So let's get some defenses. on the table with this Wave Sycophant. And Kutulun is next. She's going to attack, so the Sycophant is gonna block the Earthguild Executor. They each get a wound, and the Executor gets a stationary counter, which means that she cannot attack until the counter is removed. The other two followers go through. So Kutulun is at 6. Her next action is going to be to recruit. I'm actually going to use Marco Polo's ability. And Marco Polo says that you can remove 2 of these tokens to seek out the follower card from your deck. So the first follower I find, I'm going to play it. Sly Sentinel. She enters play, and I'm going to put these back. Kutron is next. She's going to recruit an Eagle Huntress, who is a 2/2. I will just gain a Methium. And Kutulun is going to attack with the Eagle Huntress, which I will block with the Sly Sentinel. So the Sentinel takes 2 wounds, and the Huntress is discarded. Gain 2 Methium, draw a card. And Kutulun is going to go first. She's going to recruit the Quartermaster, who is a 5/4. Let's play this Submerged Brilliance. So Kutulun is next, and she's going to attack. So the Sentinel is going to block the Mongol Quartermaster, and I'm going to use the Sentinel ability to stop Forceful Rogue from hitting. So the Rogue is going to go back, and these are going to trade. And the Wave Sycophant is going to block the armor, giving her a wound and a stationary counter. And Rup, I'm going to develop the Submerged Brilliance for 2 Methium and 2 cards. Kutulun is next. She's going to recruit Champion of the 2-man. So this one has an Overwhelm. When she defeats a blocker, Kutulun is going to gain 1 power. Let's avoid that fate by playing Pacify, which will put a stationary counter on the champion. So she cannot attack. That's going to be 3 Methium. And Kutulun's next turn is going to be to advance. She has 2 standing, so she's going to gain 1 standing. She's at full strength, and shuffle this into her deck. And finally I'm up, so I'm going to use the Submerged Brilliance to gain 1 power and 1 standing. And that's the end of the turn. I will gain 2 Methium and draw a card. And Kutulun's deck is done, so let's shuffle her deck. So next turn we're gonna go first. We don't have that many resources, sadly. I'm gonna use Surprising Development, which says that I can damage a location I control to make this cost 3 less, and I will damage the Submerged Brilliance to gain 5 Methium. And Kutulun is next. She's going to recruit the Ascetic, who's a 2/2. I'm going to play the Blind Sculpture, who is a 4/4, and at the end of the round develops one of my locations. And then Kutron is going to charge. The Sculpture is going to block the Ascetic, taking 2 wounds. And the Sycophant, no, let's just get this one through. So Kutulun is at 7. I will play an Illicit Bazaar and load it up. Kutulun is next. She's going to recruit. That's one for finishers, a 6/2 with Overwhelm. And next turn she's going to charge. Let's develop the Bazaar for 2 Methium and a Star Standing. And Kutron is going to charge with her Cavalry, which I'm going to just ignore, giving her a point. She's at 8. And that's the end of the round. So let's ready our followers. I'll gain 2 medium and draw a card. Kutulun is going to go first, and she's going to recruit a 2/2, and her next action is going to be to attack. So she's at 8. Whoops, sorry, I forgot to trigger this during the rally phase. So let's do it now. And this will also activate Marco Polo, allowing me to seek out a follower. So I will pay 1 for the heedless investor, and then I will gain 3 from the investor's ability. So she's gonna get up to 9, but we can use the Uncanny Valley here. So I'm gonna play the Uncanny Valley and load it up. And when the Valley enters play, I can discard a card to develop a location. So I will discard this Burst of Creativity to develop the Uncanny Valley, which is going to give me 1 power and 1 medium. So Kutron is up. She's going to charge. I'm going to ignore the cavalry, so that's going to get a point, a power. The investor is going to take the rogue. Actually no, the investor is going to take the Kashig and get discarded, and the sculpture is going to get the rogue, taking 1 wound and discarding. So Kutulun's next action is to recruit, which means we can develop the Uncanny Valley for a card and a power. Kutulun is going to recruit a Skillful Bruiser, and then I am going to play Silkworm Terrarium, and the Terrarium says that when it enters play, I can discard a card to develop a location. So I will discard Proof of the Grotto to develop the Uncanny Valley, which says that I gain 1 power and my opponent loses 1 power. And then Kutulun will charge with the Bruiser, which I will let through, giving her 1 power. And then for my final action, I will develop the Silkworm Terrarium, gaining 1 power, putting me at 9. And then for the rally phase, I'm going to use the Blind Sculpture to develop the terrarium 1 last time. And here we are. We have 10 power. Kutulun has 9. So super close game. I really needed to win now. I don't think I could have survived another turn of this onslaught. So this was the solo mode for Worldbreakers. Thank you for watching the video, and check out the video description to find a link to Tabletopia, where you can try this yourself. Have a great day.